global gaming community. Now, while this is true, some developers might not be aware that the creative and business decisions made in whether they're games or their teams or whatever don't always reflect this. So, what are you guys doing? So others can better understand the impact that these decisions can have on the gaming community and beyond.
Go ahead, Chloe.
Okay, yeah, sure. So yeah, we're doing a lot of initiatives, but look, just from our own standpoint, when we first got into the industry, like there wasn't anybody who looked like us or talked like us. It's just the honest truth. Us as being Black developers, there really were no one that we could look up to who were doing the same exact things. And this is going back to whether it's school, being a computer science major, all the way up to even now. And as we networked and stuff, we kind of found more individuals doing the same thing. But what that results in is a lack of confidence, right?
Yep.
Like you can be as good as you want to be in whatever you're doing. If once you start hitting a struggle and you don't see someone around you that you can relate to, it can hurt confidence. And like the reason I say that, because it's not to say that anyone in the industry is intentionally doing anything to stop us, but the honest truth is that representation means everything.
Yeah.
And what we found is that when we're going to talk to individuals from these communities, it's not that they don't have interest. Like if they can flick a switch and become a developer today, they would do it. It's just that they either don't know the path of how to get there or know even where to start. So one thing that we made very clear with one of our missions is we want to make it. We want to let people know the things that we're doing. We're not doing anything that crazy. Like there are developers out there better than us. There are indie studios out there better than us. But there's a path that you can get into this industry that just takes knowledge of what the steps are to actually build these things. So we're trying to extend that knowledge out to people who are young and getting started, or people even who are older who are interested in either changing a career path. And one of the initiatives I was talking about before was Game On that we started, and it kind of goes back to this whole thing about representation. And our real goal was to a lot of these people that we met along the way, there are individuals from different diverse backgrounds in the industry doing great things that we just don't feel have a platform to share what they've done. So as we've met these individuals, we kind of kept a list, and we went back to them at a certain point. We're like, hey, we're holding this thing in New York with Microsoft partnered with us, and so did Unity, where the whole point is really just to get together some really great individuals doing great things and just showcase to other people who are aspiring to show hey, we are from the same background that you are. You can very well do the same things that we're doing. And we had a lot of just great individuals from whether it be the media side of things. We had the VP of gaming from the NFL was there. We had the VP of Unity was there, the VP of engineering. A lot of great individuals doing awesome things. And then after we were done with that, we just said, what we want to close out with is just a networking session. And when we say networking session, we don't mean a meet and greet where everyone gets in line up to the panelists to shake hands. We're no, we actually looked to the panelists and we said, we want you guys to go to the crowd and talk to them and make that connection, right? So, and what you saw was just a really awesome, just kind of innovative experience where people are all getting inspired. The panelists are getting inspired. The people who want to get in the industry are getting inspired. But we felt that was a microcosm of what needs to happen in order to increase and encourage diversity. And that's, like I said, that's something that we're really trying to push forward. And like we said, it's not what we're doing this while at the same time, we're not saying that from the people who aren't from these underrepresented backgrounds are doing anything bad, because they're doing great things as well. But we're just saying we're trying to get everyone involved. And what we can do is, what we feel like we can do is increase that representation to say, hey, these are people doing great things in the industry from these backgrounds, and they're going to share with you how you can do the same thing.
Yeah. Sorry. Go ahead, Ahmed.
We just, as Chloe said, we focused a lot on Black excellence in the industry, because we felt like we didn't want to keep talking about the struggles. We want to also show the side of inspiration as well, because I believe in our community we know what's hard already. We know where all the struggles are, but what we're looking for is who are the people that are doing great things, and how can I be inspired by them so I can do the same things they do. So that was really our focus, was to bring that to the forefront. And while doing that, as Close said, we have events like that, but we also make sure we go right to the grounds as far as like local boys and girls clubs and things like that, just to show them, since they're already so interested in gaming, so interested on mobile apps and things like that, that they can truly, this is truly a real career path that falls right in line with the things they do every day, the things they love every day. And it's just a matter of just bringing awareness. And a lot of them just don't have that awareness, that idea that this is something they can achieve. So we want to make sure we keep pushing that initiative.
Yeah, and you know what? I think it's great how you guys really position this because, Khalil, what you were saying, and I think Ahmed, you were probably quoted at in one article. I can't remember what it was off the top, but you're like, I really just want to be part of an industry where like the norm is there could be a diverse group of people, like a culturally different group of people, like in a team or whatever, and that would just be the norm. Like everybody looks at that like, oh, that's standard. And Khalil, what you're saying about like representation, if there are specific groups, whether Black communities or other cultures and everything that don't have this form of representation, and like you said, that there's always those challenges if there's not that representation, and then there's a lack of confidence. They'll that main goal and outlook that you guys have as far as what you would like the norm to be, that can't happen without the representation and that support first. So I just love absolutely how you guys are approaching it and everything, because I mean, that's ultimately how it's going to lead to that final goal that you guys really have and envision. And clearly, you even said it yourself, it's like, it's not to say like, oh, you should really like focus on this one thing or whatever. That's just what feels and is good for us. But anybody out there, dev teams, especially when they're getting more involved with their communities within the industry and elsewhere, that they can all just choose whatever path they think is right. And this is just what the one worked for you. But I think still that over-encompassing goal is what we should all strive for, and what I feel too that this industry is really working towards. And we all need to work together to get there. So I just had to say that because I think you guys are totally on the right path and going on it the right way, but also the way that's right for you guys as well. And because that's just as important.
100%. Yeah. And there's like I said, there's so many entry paths into this industry. We met this one individual, Matt, who, so all, and when I say all he does, I'm not like what he does is amazing. And I'm just saying this to say that, hey, you don't have to be like a developer to get into the game industry. What Matt literally does is he volunteers at all game events, game conventions, game shows, game expos. And through volunteering, he just networks with a bunch of people. When I say, because we've gone to conventions all across the world, when I say we've seen, and he doesn't make games, he doesn't create anything like that. He doesn't have like a business entity. When I say we've seen this kid all around the world, young kid, bright kid, awesome kid to talk to. We've seen him at Massachusetts, California, Texas. Like we've seen him everywhere. Wow. And all he's doing is volunteering. And by volunteering so much, it's like these organizations, they support him to go to these different shows. Wow. So now he's going to all these different shows. He gets to play all the games before they come out, gets to meet all the developers, gets to, just network all these people. And he just did this out of a passion for gaming. He said, hey, I like gaming. I don't know how to make a game. I don't draw, but I just like the gaming community. And from that, he turned that into a passion. And that's what he's doing now. He's literally all over the place, and he's behind the scenes where people just would love to be. And that's what I mean. Like, yeah, I'm a game developer because that's something that was part of my interest. But if you are into the gaming community, trust me, there's always some sort of path for you.
Yeah. And that's an awesome example to show, because that if you think about it is kind of the most basic form, which is I'm just naturally interested. And now, I mean, this guy's making things happen. Right. just from that alone. He didn't know he had a path other than I got passion. Passion right. For a path. So that's awesome. Great example.
Yeah.
All right, cool. Well, before we start wrapping up here, guys, I do want to talk about some lessons learned, because I'm sure you've learned a lot of lessons in your path and everything.
Sure. Definitely.
So, well, it's easy to say that, Decoy Games is still early in your journey, right? But like, what things can you attribute to your success so far?
Man, Lessons learned. There's so many. I would say one thing for me is a lot of this industry is about who you know and not about, because I think a lot of people look at the industry and they're like, oh, if I had $1 million in marketing, I can get this, that, and this. And I always say, I guarantee you that if without knowing anyone, you can have 5 million and you probably can't get to where you want, because it's all about who you know, and who you know has to do with making genuine connections and being aggressive, honestly. So not only like sitting behind your computer and then just posting to your own social media and hoping that like somehow everything becomes viral and people just flock to you. Yeah, that's not going to work. You need to go out. You need to shoot out emails. You need to make calls. Once things get normal again, go out to like conventions and meetups and just keep building your network, building. And like I said, our most important contacts that we met have been in like the most like the smallest like backyard conventions that are not like the big PAX and E3 shows and stuff. So these people have helped us get to places that we would have never imagined that we can get to. So as much as you're building your development skills or whatever you're doing as far as creating your product, build that network. Keep talking to people. Keep reaching out. Always assume that you're talking to like the next Bill Gates, because this is a weird industry where people are not in suits and ties all the time. So, carry yourself correctly as you're meeting these people as well.
Yeah, good point.
Yeah, the networking part is definitely key to knowing people. So I definitely repeat everything Khalil says. I think as far as things we learned too, no matter how much you plan, that things will definitely slip. So I definitely have some backup plans. Be patient. And the main thing, as I said, is you're starting a business. So have a business plan in the beginning. Said our personal business plan, we knew we were going to be here for the long haul. So we worked part-time for a lot of times we did, and make sure that was making ourselves financially stable. But when you get in this industry, just make sure you have a business plan. Make sure you have your goals set up, that those are all lined up. There's so many versions of what success looks like. You're the one to decide what success is. If that's just getting the game out there, or if that's making millions of dollars, whatever version it is, they all equal the same. It all equals to what you feel that makes you happy. So as long as you make a plan towards that and keep working towards it, just be patient, keep pushing, and that's really what's going to get you toward your goals.
Nice. Now, another thing I'm curious about too, because clearly you guys are, leaders. That's why we're having this discussion here and everything. What challenges did you face as being a leader in different areas? Because we talked about how you guys serve different communities. And if there were any, of those challenges, how did you overcome them?
So I'll fall back on like the development standpoint. I do think a lot of kind of managing our brand, but also managing the realism of where our development was. A lot of times there was a lot of kind of friction there. One of the examples that we gave is, a lot of times people ask about, like, one of our biggest peaks before release was being on that 2019 Nindy Showcase, which was an awesome moment. What people didn't know is that behind the scenes, we had just ran a beta, which the performance wasn't that great to what we wanted. Like, a lot of the internet connection wasn't all that well. And literally a few days after that, we met with the people who do the internet back end of our game to discuss what was going on. And the resolution was that we were on like completely the wrong structure, and we had to do it all from scratch. And mind you, this is 3 days after our game was on the Nintendo stream that was viewed by millions of users. Release date up there too. So we actually had to full on redo things in the background while missing that release date and stuff. And the reason I say this, as far as a lesson learned, don't throw out release dates unless you are very sure. That'd be one really key one. But also, like Ahmed said, just have a backup plan, or just be ready to change and adapt. Don't get so emotionally locked in that when what you think is bad news comes up, that you are just completely broken down and devastated. Because while that was definitely something that was hard to listen to and hard to grasp, the results of actually making that change and making that fix was, in my opinion, way better than what we would have released at that time.
Nice. All right, and the last one I'm curious about too. You guys really have a lot to look forward to based on everything that you're doing. So I'm curious to know, what do your future plans look like? And how did serving as a community leader help shape that?